So today we want to talk about great value on Xbox One. You love the Xbox 360 and then you either went to PS4 or you skipped it entirely and went to Xbox Series X. We're here to tell you that you may have missed some great deals and some great games along the way.
These came as awesome bundle packs or definitive editions that gave players a ton of value, often with 2 full games and all the DLC rolled in too. And honestly, if you missed these in the 360 days or even skipped the Xbox One generation completely, these bundles are a perfect way to jump in fresh and experience some of the classics for the first time. And we've been wanting to make this video for a while now, so let's check out some games.
Hey, what's going on everyone, and welcome back to our game collection. So today we're going to be taking a look at some Xbox 360 games that made a comeback, so to speak, on Xbox One, but not just as simple re-releases. They're usually in 2-packs or 3-packs, and today we're going to be looking at the double packs that you could get on Xbox One. So I have the lovely Scarole here to help me out with the physical media, because that makes things so much easier. And yeah, let's just talk about the physical collecting aspect of this and show the Xbox One games first. And then we'll also include the Xbox 360 physicals because a lot of you only care about the 360. That's just something that we also take into consideration. Okay, so why don't we start off strong with one of my favorites. This is Batman Return to Arkham. And this, of course, comes with Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City. And this physical was released in 2016. And other than the obvious, texture upgrades, resolution, better FPS, Arkham City also came with the Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC, and of course the Catwoman episodes. And if you remember playing this on the Xbox 360, it kind of alternated between playing as Batman and also you had certain sections where you played as Catwoman. So all of this is integrated into one full game, so to speak. And of course, the infamous challenge maps are also part of this for Arkham City. There's some DLC for Arkham Asylum as well, but I don't fully remember what they were at this point. Maybe it says on the back here, but nothing noteworthy or anything that added more achievements or trophies, stuff like that. So, yep, that's Return to Arkham. So let's look at the Xbox 360 versions as well. And starting with Arkham Asylum. And this is probably one of the cheapest ones you can get on the 360, of course. And I played this one first. Great game, as I said earlier. And unfortunately, though, if you were to just get this on the 360, this game is not backwards compatible. So you will have to play this on an Xbox 360 if that's what you have. But yeah, this version didn't come with those 3D glasses that you may have caught a glimpse of there. But the Game of the Year edition did. So they had multiple releases for this game. But still, if you are on the 360, then absolutely get this one. This is a must for that generation. And then let's check out Arkham City as well. And this is essentially what you're getting in the Xbox One version. This is the Game of the Year edition with all DLC and all the bonus content. As you can see here, it's Harley Quinn DLC and a bunch of stuff on the back there. So yeah, if you were to get this one on the 360, this is the one you'll be looking for. And this one comes with 2 discs as well. And then I'm pretty sure this is the install disc with all the DLC. I remember on Games from Windows Live, this one had like 3 discs, I think. So you had to install a lot more stuff. But great one as well. But again, unfortunately, not backwards compatible either. So yeah, you'll have to have a 360 to play this one. And let's look at the next one here, which is Dead Island Definitive Edition. I do like this cover, actually. It's pretty cool. And this one was also released in 2016, just like Return to Arkham. And it comes with, of course, the first Dead Island game and also Dead Island Riptide. And there's a little bonus game in here too that I haven't actually personally played yet. It's the Dead Island Retro Revenge, which is kind of like a side-scrolling, what do you call those? It's kind of like a beat 'em up, shoot 'em up kind of thing. So
Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage kind of thing, yeah. So that one looks interesting. I don't think it's a great game, but it's fun that they tried something different here. And Dead Island Riptide did not have any notable DLC that I know of, but the first Dead Island game, it's essentially the Game of the Year edition in here as well. It has Riders White Campaign Bloodbath Arena, which is kind of like a horde mode, a very interesting horde mode, and a couple of other things with it too. So this is a great, you essentially get 3 games in this one. 2 complete games, as it says on the front there, but this is a good one if you've never experienced Dead Island, and I can vouch for the graphical upgrades for this game. It looked pretty rough back in 2011 when the first Dead Island came out, but I popped this in and just to check out the graphical upgrades, and yeah, it does make a big difference in this one. And of course, a great game to play in co-op, and dare I say, it's actually better to play it in co-op. Alright, let's take a look at the Xbox 360 versions as well. And this is the Game of the Year edition that I mentioned earlier. It comes with all the DLC. It's a little bit misleading if you look at this one in the store, because once we get to the spine, it's a little bit, it doesn't say Game of the Year edition, so it looks exactly like the standard one, but always just make sure you look on the front, and then also the disc, of course, that you are getting the Game of the Year edition. So we can check the disc out as well here. That one will say Game of the Year. Otherwise, everything's the same. The manual is the same and looks very similar. But you will just obviously just get access to all the DLC when you pop this in. And again, just like the Arkham games, this one is also not backwards compatible. So you'll have to get a 360 to play this one. This particular version at least. And then let's look at Dead Island Riptide, and I like this cover as well, so they did a good job on the art here. It's a really cool cover, and this one is just more of the same, just a continuation. I always felt like this was more of a kind of like a bigger expansion or a DLC. I know this seemed like it was a little bit more rushed, because I think Techland was working on something else at the time. I don't know if it was Call of Juarez or Dying Light, but it feels a little bit shorter than the first game. But still, it's worth experiencing, again, in co-op, and then you can transfer your character from the first game to this game to make it even better and a little bit easier, I would say. And once again, this one is also not backwards compatible. And we're continuing strong here with one of my other favorites from the 360 era, and that is Metro Redux, or do people say Redu? I don't know, it's French.
Yeah.
I don't have to do the French accent though, but it's Metro Redux. I'm sticking with that, I guess. And that was released in 2014. So this was one of the early Xbox One ports, in a sense, or remasters. And this was really a remaster. And I'll explain why in a second here. But it comes with Metro 2033 and also Metro Last Light. And both of these games, especially the first one, is based on the book. And I always say this whenever I talk about Metro. I love the fact that the author was very much involved in making these games and writing the story and adapting it for a video game. So that's where Metro Last Light was more of a continuation. It tied the book to the games. So that story is slightly different, but cool nonetheless. Really impressive games. And they did really redo the first game here. It's phenomenal in my opinion. The 360 version that we'll look at here in a minute was a little bit rougher on the edges, which, you know, it's very natural for someone, a new company, to make a new series totally unknown, and you got to start somewhere. The one thing to point out about this physical version here is that this is a completely separate physical only release on the Xbox One, and of course the PS4 as well. The digital versions that you see in the store, that's a totally separate release and has a separate achievement list and everything. So that's what makes this one a little bit unique. I think they were trying to make the games more seamless. They kind of go one into another. I'm actually surprised that this is not more of a rarity in terms of physical releases because of what it is. But maybe most people don't know that this is a physical only release. But maybe it was just printed in masses, so then, you know, it's just readily available. But there was a time where this one was much more expensive, but now it is much cheaper. I think it's like $10 to $15. But Okay, so let's look at the 360 versions, and this is, of course, Metro 2033 first here. And as I mentioned, this one is great, but it's kind of rough around the edges, so keep that in mind if you do play this on the 360. I still recommend, if you've never played Metro, play the Xbox One version, because it is going to be a lot better. But, you know, if you want to do the original take on it or the original experience, definitely play this one. And it's still going to be a very authentic experience, and it's going to be very, very good still. But just keep in mind, it's going to be a little bit... the controls aren't going to be as good, and the graphics maybe not as good either. But still a good experience to play on the 360. And lastly, this one is also not backwards compatible, so you'll have to play it on the 360. There's a theme here. A lot of these games are not backwards compatible, so reason enough to play them on the newer consoles. Okay, and then, of course, the second game, Metro Last Light. I love this game. This one is amazing. It's probably my favorite Metro game. So this one had some extra DLC released as well. And that is, of course, included in the Metro Redux bundle that we just showed on Xbox One. There was no Game of the Year edition or anything like that on the 360, and you can't buy that DLC on the Xbox 360 anymore. So your best bet, if you wanted the full experience for Metro Last Light, is to play it in the Metro Redux. But of course, you know, you can get it on the 360 as well. Both of these games are very affordable and also a good place to start on that console. And again, as you'll probably guess my next words here, this is also not backwards compatible. And this next one here I've featured previously in a different video, but it would feel incomplete not including it in this one. And that is Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. I don't think I have to go into too much detail about the Assassin's Creed games. I think most people are aware of what this is, but I felt like I still wanted to include this for the reason that it has the Assassin's Creed Liberation HD on here as well. So I don't know how many HD remakes that makes it, like 2 or 3, because as we'll see here in a minute, this was released on a completely different console first. And it's one of those games that I remember in a lot of ways, but I don't have a lot of fond memories of Assassin's Creed 3, but it might be unfair. You know, this game is getting up there in age at this point, so they may have overhauled this and made it a much better experience on Xbox One. And it actually includes all of the DLC as well from Assassin's Creed 3 on the 360, which I quite enjoyed the Tyranny of George Washington myself, and I highly recommend experiencing that if you haven't done that already. And of course, with Assassin's Creed Liberation HD, that was more of a bigger expansion, and you played as a different character there. And I do believe it was the first time Ubisoft had a female lead character in a game. And before I forget, this particular physical was released in 2019. And let's just, for the sake of it, look at the Xbox 360 version of Assassin's Creed 3 as well, because I know a lot of you probably, the first games you get rid of are the Assassin's Creed games, because they're so plentiful. It's probably the most common games you see in a game store. But we always keep these games. I love just having them on the shelf, and if I want to pop them in and play them again, then I can just do them in its original state here. And of course, the good thing about this particular one, it is backwards compatible, so you can still play it on Xbox One or Series X, so that's great. Although, as we're looking at the multiplayer disc here, so this was discontinued, so you won't be able to play that on the 360 anymore, which I did get to experience this, and you know, I thought it was pretty good. I think it was Wolfpack was one mode that they had, and it was pretty enjoyable for what it was. It was a little bit different from other multiplayer at the time. So in the remaster, they took out all the multiplayer, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just a pure single-player experience. Oh, wrong stack. I do that too all the time. It's all good. And this one's unusual because obviously this is the only physical we have of this game, but since we are doing game collecting and we have to show this one, because I remember vividly when I bought this one, I was looking specifically for this one, and that's Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation for the PS Vita. And this one is pretty cool. We haven't even opened it because I played it on the 360, so I didn't really have to open this one, but I'm always curious to see how it plays and looks on the PS Vita as well. But yeah, it's a pretty cool collectible to have, and I feel like we just had to have it. It doesn't match anything we're doing here because it's so much smaller, but still pretty sweet. And the interesting thing about Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation is that the HD remake on 360 was delisted, but it was backwards compatible. So if you do own it from the 360 days, you can still play it on Xbox One and on Series X digitally. So, but you can't buy it anymore though, so this would be the other way to buy it if you wanted to get it. And the next one here will excite many of you, I think, because these games, I don't know if they're considered hidden gems, underrated. They're definitely not hidden, I would say, but a lot of people love these games. And that is, of course, the Bayonetta and Vanquish 10th anniversary bundle. And this came out in 2020. So that means both of these games were around 2010. And it was a good year for Sega, apparently. So I think both of these games are fantastic, actually. Vanquish is one of my kind of unwritten or like hidden favorites in a sense. I haven't been able to talk too much about Vanquish. Bayonetta is also great, but I have not been able to play it fully yet. I always get distracted, so it's one of those things that happen sometimes. I'm sure we can all relate to games we started, but it's hard to find time to play that particular one. But again, this no notable DLC here. This is just visual upgrades, which gives you like better performance, and it looks fantastic on an Xbox One or a Series X. So definitely worth playing if you have not experienced these on the older consoles. But yeah, you can definitely get this bundle. And also worth noting that this came in a steelbook format as well. That is really cool. We don't currently have that one, but it is a steelbook that we've been wanting to add to our collection, and it's not overly expensive either. And then let's check out the 360 ones, because that's what we do, and we love the 360. So, and here's Bayonetta. And again, this is a classic for many, and like I said, I need to just go back and play this all the way through. But I have really enjoyed this game, and it is non-stop action. That's for sure. So
leaves you with a racing pulse. Yep,
it does. And you know, happily enough or gladly enough, this is a backwards compatible game as well, and it looks fantastic on a Series X or an Xbox One. So if you own this on the 360, you can pop it into those consoles, and it looks and plays great there as well. And then last game in this bundle is, of course, Vanquish. And this game is fantastic. Both are very action-packed, fast-paced games. And this is a game by Shinji Mikami, believe it or not. So in case you have not played this or didn't know that surprised me. I actually didn't know that was Shinji Mikami before I played it. So yeah, a great game, highly recommended, and I did play this all the way through. And you can also experience this one on your Xbox One or Series X because it is backwards compatible. So another great game to play from the 360 era. So now let's take you back to a weirder time in this pretty famous series, I would say, but it was going through a transition, not quite knowing where they wanted to go. And that's Saints Row double pack here. That comes with Saints Row 4 Re-Elected and Saints Row Get Out of Hell. So again, this was just more upgrades to the visuals and the whole experience. You can consider these ports, but at least with Saints Row 4, it came with all the DLC that you could play on the 360. And it got rid of that one pesky achievement that I think a lot of people are aware of if you are into that sort of thing. They took away the upload of your character that gave you an achievement, but they made it offline for this one. So, but it's still great, and one of my personal favorite DLCs, How the Saints Saved Christmas. You should experience it. The other one is a little bit weird. It's like a dominatrix one, so it's very silly. If you are fans of Saints Row 1 and 2, of course, you're gonna have a lot of problems with these games. But yeah, the DLCs are fun. if you don't mind the silliness, and then Get Out of Hell was more or less kind of like a bigger expansion once again. That was very popular on this time where people, or companies, I should say, not random people releasing games, where companies were doing bigger expansions rather than DLC for certain games. But it's worth experiencing both of them. Get Out of Hell kind of overstays its welcome a little bit towards the end. It's very grindy. But I should also mention this bundle came out in 2015. So let's look at the Xbox 360 versions as well. And this is Saints Row 4. Should be very familiar to most people. And this is probably the least favorite Saints Row, I would say, but it's the one that I played the most for some reason. So it's, like I said earlier, it's a very silly, very different Saints Row. There was also an edition on the 360 that had all the DLC. I think it's called the National Treasure Edition. So there's that one. And, you know, again, very readily available. And also another game that is backwards compatible. So that is good news. And then let's also look at the first edition, apparently, of Saints Row Get Out of Hell. And yeah, this is more or less a bigger expansion, like I said earlier. Should still be experienced, though. I think it's, if you're a fan of the series and fan of Johnny Gat, then, you know, this one will be relatively fun, I would say. It's a little bit longer than it should be. But, yeah, it's a cool one to have on the 360, I would say. And another one that is also backwards compatible. So, again, another great one to play on newer consoles. Okay, the last one in today's video. I have talked about this one before, and it should be familiar to most of you if you played games around the 360 era, of course. And that series is Prototype, and this is the Biohazard bundle that, you guessed it, comes with Prototype 1 and Prototype 2. So you play as two different characters in this one, but they're very closely connected, of course. If you have played the games, you know that Alex Mercer from the first one, he appears again in Prototype 2 as well. But these are just open world mayhem. That's really what this is. And I think they are pretty fun games. I think the second one is probably my favorite. I still have yet to fully get invested in the first game. But this is a great one to have on the Xbox One. I do believe they also released the same bundle on the 360, so more or less this is going to be the same version with better graphics and better performance, as you would expect. So yeah, it is a good one to have, and it's become a little bit harder to find this one over the years. But otherwise, not any notable DLCs. There's some for Prototype 2, I believe. And I should also mention that this one was released in 2015. And as per usual, let's check out the Xbox 360 editions as well. This is, again, just the standard one for Prototype, the first one. We do also have like a Platinum Hits version of this one, but we don't typically collect the Platinum Hits. But again, you know, this is a good place to start on the 360 as well. If that's what you want to play, then this is a good open world game to just cause some havoc and have some good old-fashioned open world fun. But since this one is not backwards compatible, you're going to have to play this on the 360, of course. And then let's look at Prototype 2 as well. Comes with a nice little slipcover. And one of the few slipcovers that I kept really on the 360, so it's really cool. And I really enjoyed this game a lot, actually. I was surprised that I liked it as much as I did, and I feel like it's a little bit more accessible and a little bit easier to get into than the first one, but they both play very similarly, and you'll have a good time with both of these games. And as I mentioned earlier, these are kind of the last of the Prototype games that we ever saw. So who knows? Maybe they'll revisit this again, but it's very unlikely that we'll see another Prototype game. But they're still really fun games to play through. And then we'll do the slipcover, and then we'll put the last game on top here. And Prototype 2 is also not backwards compatible. So there you have it. a bunch of great value bundles that brought Xbox 360 favorites into the Xbox One era. And we have to mention that these games also came out on the PS4, of course. So whether you want to replay them again for nostalgia or just discover these games for the very first time, these are some of the best, most complete editions you can find. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. We always appreciate that. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe by clicking like this and doing the dingy bells. And then until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye!